9 News Plus weather, sponsored by Carrier Colorado. The future of home comfort is here.
Hey, happy Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us here on 9 News Plus on this cloudy and eventually a little bit stormy Thursday. I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and yes, it is certainly a bit on the cloudy side, as I mentioned, but I don't think we're going to see a ton of rain here in town from the system. We do have a chance for maybe a few downpours, could put down a tenth, maybe a few spots, quarter inch of rainfall, but for the most part, this will be kind of cloudy, dreary with some occasional light to moderate rainfall this afternoon. So right now, again, a fair bit of that cloud cover. One thing you might notice, though, those clouds are fairly high up there, and these are mid to high level clouds. And the reason I say that is that at the surface, it's still fairly dry. It means any rain that falls is going to take a little bit of time for it to reach the ground, and that's why a little bit more, I don't know, a bit more dubious about the chances of us getting a good downpour here in the Denver area. So watching for that. Now, if you kind of squint here, just squint, you can see some of that snow falling there at about 11,000 feet atop the Eisenhower Johnson tunnels. And that is where we're seeing some of that, again, light snow, not expecting much of any accumulation out there on the roads. Cloudy, showers around for us today, isolated storms for tomorrow, and 70-degree plus temperatures continue for the foreseeable future. But there's also the chance for some strong to severe storms on the far eastern plains for today, east of about a Fort Morgan Lyman line. That's where we have the best chance at seeing some maybe gusty winds and some large hail out across the far eastern plains. This is going to be mainly a gusty wind threat for friends on the far eastern plains. Get maybe a little bit of hail, but I think it's going to be mainly winds that could gust to 60, maybe even 70 miles an hour out there on the eastern plains later on this afternoon. For now, HD Doppler radar still fairly quiet. Into the mountains, we were seeing some of that rain and snowfall, but into the metro area, that's where it's still fairly quiet, just a lot of cloud cover right now. Close look in, we do have that snow above 10,000, 9,500, 10,000 feet or above. So again, in a few spots, you may see a little bit of slushy accumulation on colder surfaces, but I think roads will stay wet even at the highest elevations. So I think Rabbit Ears, Berthoud, Vale Pass, all those passes should be okay today. So if you're driving through the high country, I think we're just dealing with wet roads, but I don't think we're talking about much in the way of snow accumulation. Keep in mind, we are just, 7 weeks away from the summer solstice, which means that the sun angle is very, very strong. Even on a cloudy day like this, that sun is having a big impact on warming the ground and make it very difficult for any snow to stick. In order for snow to stick this time of year, you need it to be overnight, basically, or it needs to be snowing really, really heavily. That's a different situation. But for this afternoon, the rain will develop for us here along the I-25 corridor between about 12 and 3 p.m. So early this afternoon is when we'll see that rain develop with some occasional rumbles of thunder. I don't think we're talking about too much of a severe weather risk for us here in the Denver area. We've got the cloud cover that's going to limit the heating. Plus, we've also got some dry air at the surface. Both those things, I think, are going to make it difficult for any of that rain to reach the ground, or really any sort of severe weather to reach the ground. But we could get an occasional clap of thunder. That's what I think we're looking at here along the I-25 corridor for today. Then things clear on out tonight pretty quickly, and by tomorrow morning, a lot of sunshine for us here across the state. Now, closer look in here at the metro area. Again, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, we'll see some of those showers develop. Some hit or miss downpours. Some areas hopefully get a good soaking, a good tenth to maybe quarter inch of rainfall from this. Other areas, though, may just about entirely miss out, maybe just a few raindrops on the windshield. Again, it's going to be fairly hit or miss in nature. By 8, 9 o'clock tonight, though, the rain over and done with for most of us. Maybe an occasional shower up into Weld or Morgan counties for 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow morning, everybody on the clear and dry side. Rainfall totals, the model's not too impressed with what we could get today. Again, I'm certainly hoping for more than this. I hope we end up on the higher side of these totals, because May is our wettest month of the year on average for us along the Front Range. And this is, it's a time of year where we want to see that rainfall come on down. So this isn't really going to do much other than maybe coat the ground and lead to, well, I guess maybe you might not have to water the lawn tonight if you get one of those downpours. That's pretty much it in terms of that rainfall. Temperature right now, 60s, 70s, eastern plains, 40s and 50s for the most part into the high country. It is notably cooler for most of us today compared to this time yesterday. We do have some elevated fire danger along and south of the Palmer Divide. That's where we've got a bit more sunshine, warmer temperatures, and we're going to mostly miss out on that rain in southeastern Colorado for today. So mostly cloudy, as I mentioned, 72 for today. Showers between about 12 and 6 p.m. for us this afternoon. Most of us, by the way, much cooler today compared to yesterday. Worth noting, we're still about 5-6 degrees above our seasonal average with these highs in the low 70s for us in the Denver area. And then notice the southeastern plains. That's where we could touch the low 80s for this afternoon. That's closer to about 10 degrees above the seasonal average. So again, it's going to be warm, but or it's going to be cooler than yesterday, but still fairly warm for the first week of the month of May. For tonight, temperatures drop down in the 40s. Any showers or rumbles of thunder we get will be on the early side by about sunset tonight. And by the way, first 8 p.m. or later sunset of the year coming up on Sunday. We'll have 8 p.m. or later sunsets through mid-August starting on Sunday. Sunset tonight, 7:56. By about sunset, any showers should be basically over and done with for tonight. For tomorrow, isolated storm. I think this is going to be far northeastern Colorado. I would plan on the Denver area being dry for tomorrow. It looks to me at this point like we're going to have that southwest flow. It's a drying wind. I have a hard time seeing any rain or showers or thunderstorms making it into the Denver area. Northeastern corner of the state, Logan, Phillips, Sedgwick counties, that's where I think we could get some, maybe even an occasional 1 or 2 severe storms to develop, but I think we're going to stay dry in the Denver area for tomorrow. So again, tomorrow, the northeastern plains, that's where we're going to have the best chance at seeing some of the strong severe storms. Fort Morgan on north and east, that's where, again, I think we could see some showers or thunderstorms, maybe a slight chance into Larimer County, Weld counties as well, but I think Greeley, Fort Collins probably stay dry, maybe a 10-20% chance there, and Denver, 0 to 10% chance of seeing a shower storm tomorrow. We're probably going to stay dry here in town, maybe a slightly better chance for some rainfall as we get into your Saturday and your Sunday. So here's a look at how the 7-day forecast shakes on out for tomorrow. Isolated storm north and east. I think we're staying dry tomorrow. Just leaving that in for the northeastern corner of the state. But again, I think we stay dry here in Denver. Saturday, Sunday, slightly better chance of seeing a storm here in town. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we warm on up. Temps near 80 for us on Tuesday. Isolated storms for Wednesday and Thursday. Still have a flood watch for northwest Colorado through Saturday. That is thanks to rapid snow melt out there on the Yampa River. So right there along Highway 40, I know, of course, the Yampa runs parallel to it. That's where you're going to be looking at the potential for some of that flooding up there. So Hayden, Craig, Steamboat, that's where you're going to be looking at that chance for some of that flooding from the Yampa River. Now, this is the good news. I always like closing out on some good news. The new drought monitor came in this morning, and it really led to some substantial improvements for us across the eastern part of the state in terms of those overall drought conditions. Denver officially out of a drought, no longer in drought conditions here in Denver, thanks to all that rain we picked up last week. And Pueblo last week was under that red shading, under the extreme drought, the second highest caliber of drought as of last week. This week, Pueblo down to just a moderate drought, and that is thanks to all of that rain that they picked up last week. You might remember we were talking about this. Pueblo picked up over 2 inches worth of rainfall last week. That was more than the previous 8 months worth of total rain, melted snow equivalent combined. So Pueblo seeing a really, really beneficial storm last week, and we're seeing that reflected in the drought monitor. Southeastern Colorado in much better shape than we were talking about a week ago. So really good news there, no doubt about it. We needed that rain in the southeastern part of the state. And last week's storm, I mentioned this several times, it was basically the kind of a perfect storm in the sense that the part of the state that needed the rain the most got it, and it came away with pretty minimal damage. We weren't talking about widespread severe weather. We weren't talking about a destructive snowstorm in the foothills, which can often take place in April or May. We kind of got all the rain without a lot of the headaches. So it was a very good storm last week. Mother Nature, if you're watching, you did well last week, and we certainly saw some of that benefit reflected on the drought monitor map this week. So top line takeaways for the Denver forecast: showers between about 12 and 6 today. I don't think we're talking about a ton of rain, unfortunately. Would like to see a bit more than we're getting, but maybe a 1/10 of an inch of rainfall, maybe a clap of thunder. That's pretty much it. Tomorrow, isolated storms northeast Colorado. Denver, we probably stay dry, and the weekend a few afternoon showers and storms around both days. Temperatures stay in the 70s for the next little while, and then next week we keep with those temperatures on the warm side, maybe hitting 80 degrees next Tuesday. Once again, I'm 9 News meteorologist Chris Bianchi, and we'll have meteorologist Keely Chalmers with an update coming up at 9 News at noon and at 2 p.m. here on 9 News Plus. Then we'll have Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin in at 4 and 5, then meteorologist Danielle Grant in at 6, 9, and 10 tonight on the 9 News family of networks. Once again, I'm meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Plus, and have a great rest of your Thursday.